And for more, Ross Cullen joins us live from Tel Aviv. Well, Ross, a lot of international diplomacy going on in Israel right now with Dutch PM there and now with Macron visit. What can be expected?
Yeah, Emmanuel Macron has just touched down here in Israel for the beginning of his visit. He will be meeting families of the victims shortly before then heading off to a meeting with the President, Isaac Herzog, and then the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, before meeting some of the opposition leaders. It's believed he could well make a visit to meet President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority, also in Ramallah, potentially later on today or maybe Wednesday, to see that visit to the West Bank. Now, I'll read out some points from the Elysee ahead of his trip that were released on Monday night local time, saying that Emmanuel Macron will discuss the creation of a Palestinian state, and during his visit he will call for the resumption of a real peace process. He will also add that Hezbollah, quote, must not enter the conflict because it would only bring misfortune, and a couple of the goals that the Elysee Palace, the French presidential office, has set out, saying that the only way he can be useful is to show solidarity to Israel, make very clear commitments against terrorist groups, and to reopen a political perspective. Now, in terms of the Hezbollah mentioned there, to ensure the conflict doesn't widen, that has been one of the main goals of Western leaders we have seen over the past couple of weeks. Joe Biden saying don't, his simple message to any actors, state or non-state, like Iran or Hezbollah, not to get involved. This is Israel's war that it has declared against Hamas, and it shouldn't be widened out any further. But yeah, after Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte and the Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis also here on Monday, the latest world leader to make a visit is Emmanuel Macron today.
Well, Ross, latest Israeli strikes killed several people, and many people have been killed in the last 24 hours also, especially. Can you update us on that?
Yeah, the latest numbers, unfortunately, are just rising in terms of the numbers of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip who lost their lives, the numbers of people who are injured. Reports of an Israeli strike overnight on the Al-Shati camp in Gaza. We are seeing those continued strikes, but there has been this call for a ceasefire or at least humanitarian pauses in some of the bombardment. This is the airstrike campaign that Israel has been carrying out in retaliation since October the 7th, after the Hamas atrocities here inside Israel. One of those parts that needs to be discussed also by French President Emmanuel Macron, it will be the humanitarian side, will also be the hostages, to try to secure the release of more missing French people. There are some 30 French people who have been confirmed dead. It's the worst terror attack against French nationals since the attack that took place in Nice, the southern city on the French Mediterranean coast in 2016, when 86 people died when a truck was driven through crowds celebrating the National Day. After the Hamas attacks here, 30 French people now confirmed to have lost their life, and Emmanuel Macron will be meeting their families and also the families of French nationals believed still to be missing.
Yeah, also US has advised Israel to hold off on a ground assault in the Gaza Strip, although Israeli Defense Minister has told Israeli forces to prepare for an air, ground and sea operation into Gaza, adding that the operation will come soon. How imminent is it?
The ground operation is on hold at the moment. It has not got underway, but the defence forces have warned the Israeli government that they will not be able to stand by in a state of full readiness forever. They are massing on the border. We have been seeing lots of training exercises with infantry troops, with tanks, to try to prepare the Israeli ground forces for that possible incursion if it does take place. At the moment, the Israeli armed forces are focusing on an airstrike campaign to try to eliminate Hamas targets inside the Gaza Strip, but they do want to be able to entirely wipe out Hamas. They want to crush and destroy the Palestinian Palestinian militant group that the stated goals of the Israeli government are to do so, and they do believe that a ground incursion could be necessary to try to finish that job. However, at the moment, we have got aid convoys driving around the Gaza Strip to try to deliver aid to the Palestinians. We have got ongoing negotiations to try to release the hostages, and so it does seem that the United States has pressured its ally to try to hold off on that ground invasion for the moment.
Well, Ross, thank you so much for updating us from Tel Aviv itself.